What's up, everyone? Welcome to Beyond the Pit, where this show is there's Star Wars and there's everything else. And this is the Everything Else podcast that we're trying to broaden our line talk and bring it to forefront of all our listeners and future listeners. So with that, today we are going to be basically talking about the Marvel Universe and everything because Loki is in the hot seat right now. And I wanted to bring on some of the Sarlacc guys with me. So I have Darth Dad, or Grand Admiral Franz, that we did change his name. So Grand Admiral Franz is here with us.
What's up, guys? Hey, and can you just hear all the RLU guys right now going, oh, they're going to talk Marvel? Wait for this one.
Yeah. I think
they know better than to mess with me whenever it comes to general geekery. So
that's right. Scott Solo is with us. And also, speaking of that, Scott Solo wins all their trivia contests. I mean, being a Star Wars guy, he wins all the Marvel stuff. This is why we have him.
That's it. No other reason. That's it. I was really good at trivia.
I was honestly trying to be humble about it, and then you guys
no. There's no humble. You heard them talk. There's we can't be humble. We have to jab at them every chance we can.
I don't listen to their shit.
Jump cut.
Oops.
No, it's all in good fun, right? So I mean, what we would do when we would meet up and do a Star Wars show, or even before our show and after show and during our chats and stuff, we would be talking a lot of pop culture stuff, what's ever going on, because we're all, like I said, well-rounded geeks. We talk about Lord of the Rings. We talk about G.I. Joe. We talk about toys and comics extensively. So, and Marvel's no different. Yes, we all love DC and everything, but, I got to hand it to Marvel. When it comes to live action and Disney Plus and their movies, it's hands down probably one of the best cinematic experiences, that last 10 years that we went through. And Disney Plus is killing it. Like, yes, they're killing it with Star Wars, but they're also killing it with Marvel. And this is what I love about it, because they're owned by the same company. Mm-hmm. And we get to enjoy it, just as much as everything else. And I wish Disney would buy DC, honestly, so they could,
fix it.
Yeah. Do something.
I like that Disney Plus is better than most of the movies. Like the Disney Plus in both Star Wars and Marvel right now. I think the Disney Plus stuff is killing. This TV stuff is insane.
Yeah.
But I to second yours or third yours. Yeah. If DC got bought up, I'd be okay with.
It'd be a stat. The Disney, absolutely would rule the world. There may be. We'll see. I don't know if they
wouldn't even have to change the acronym. It'd just be Disney Comics, DC, instead of Detective Comics.
That's right. So again, what's up? What dropped today? We're recording this on Wednesday, the 16th, June 16th. So Loki episode 2 dropped and everything, and so we're going to kind of go through that a little bit, and then we're going to talk the overall, what this is meaning going forward and stuff. So. I know you guys watched episode 1 of last week and everything, and it was okay. It was a good setup, right? Mm-hmm. They're setting up some cool stuff, but this episode, I think, really got into the meat and potatoes of this of what Loki's about. And of course, it left that big opening question at the end. So again, spoiler, guys. If you haven't watched it, pause this, go watch it, and then bring it back on. So we can
I pause this? I don't know if I can pause this or not.
Scott, close your ears. You just close your ears. Well,
all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, real quick before we get into the actual story itself, I want to talk about the cast real fast.
Yeah. Go for it.
Just because I think Hiddleston and Wilson are playing off each other extremely well, and every time I have a question, Brie Larson notwithstanding, right. About casting and a problem with casting. Like I was worried about Owen Wilson in the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah, me too.
Then I'm like, he's just going to be Owen Wilson, and he kind of is just Owen Wilson. Yeah, but it's totally perfect for the part.
It's great.
Everything he says, does, and the way he reacts to Loki every time, and whenever he's trying to play him or getting played by him or whatever, his reactions are phenomenal, and I just really. I think I didn't see that coming. I was ready to hate that just on principle.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because even today, as I was watching this episode, and I looked at it, and I go, man, Owen Wilson is killing it. And you're right; those two play off each other, because the comedy in this is funny. It's fantastic. It's not over the top. It's not tongue in cheek. It's not slapstick.
No,
it's sarcasm at its finest, just like Loki's been doing this whole time.
Yeah,
and man. So,
but it gets serious when it needs to, right?
Yes.
You've seen them both at the conversation they had about existence, right? And existence is chaos, and how that went today. Oh man, that was some really deep, cool stuff. And a lot of the things they say in both episodes of this show, I love how they're just kind of making you ready to believe anything that happens. Right? Like no matter if you see Spider-Man 3 times in one movie, different ones, it's okay because it's probably a multiverse thing, right? Any kind of weird stuff, or if somebody's out of place or it's a different character from the rest of your Marvel loving lives, right? It's going to be, oh, it's okay. It must have been something in the timeline.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now.
And that's where moving forward into like the next 10 years of Marvel Cinematic and Disney Plus stuff, is that going to be a cop-out? Go ahead, Scott.
Do you think that the average movie-going audience is smart enough to really follow along with that thought process, though?
So
I don't think so. But, I mean, for us nerds that, have read the comics and seen the movies and all that, of course, we're like, oh, we're living that meme of, Leonardo DiCaprio going, I know, we're living that, but everybody else.
To your answer that, they'll have to do it in a way where it's going to water it down. Mm-hmm. It can't be as convoluted as the comics. Just like a perfect example, the Infinity Wars saga. In the comics, if they brought that to live action, it would have been, nobody would like it because it's so vast and confusing. And like I said, it just, there's too much going on, but they had to dummy it down, for the I'm not want to use that word, but
the Muggles.
Yeah, and essentially the multiverse, they're going to have to do that too. So I feel bad for people who refuse to watch these Disney Plus shows and then just go right into like the cinematic stuff.
This is where you start competing with Star Wars people, right? Where I keep hearing from people, I shouldn't have to read a book. I shouldn't have to do this. Well, guess what? I shouldn't have to watch a Disney Plus show.
Right,
Luckily, I do.
Right.
Luckily, I do. So WandaVision and right here and even Avengers Endgame, right? We've played with time travel in different universes now and messed around with reality. So I'm good and set for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
But the people that don't watch WandaVision and Loki and what have you, they're going to be behind when the movies start. For sure.
And we just can't worry about them. We can't. We want everything to be successful, so we have more, and that's why we want people to go in there and see the movie 8 times and whatnot, because we want more. We don't, yes, we love our cult following, but we also like it to be, a thing that everybody wants, so we get more.
Yeah. See, this is every time you guys come up with something in our regular podcast, and I'm always shooting it down, it's because 9 times out of 10, I think in order to have that work, you've got to dumb it down.
Right. And that's what we try to do. We try to come up with a concept and see, okay, we can make it work, and now let's piece it back together to where the Muggles could flatline it and be like, okay, this works and this works and this, especially if you take this and just add a scene here or a comment or something like that.
That's what I always try to do. Try to make it match for everybody. Like, look, I'm going to think this is badass and get a big old erection about it, right?
Yeah.
But Joe Blow's not going to know anything, but it's still not going to change the story, and that person's still going to be a cool character. But they won't know the history of it. Same thing.
Yeah. Don't you love it when their eyes go when they come to you and they go like, why did this happen in this movie? Because of this and that. Oh my God, you're right. It's like they didn't get it when they watched it, but talking to people who follow all of the aspects of it, and that's why we have those kind of friends, right? That's what we have. So,
I watched this episode. Ouch! I watched this episode twice of Loki, and watching it the second time, it's completely different. Once you see what's been going on, it's completely different.
Yeah. We left off was Loki's chasing Loki, right? That's where this is going off, and because there's 2 variants. We got this variant because we saw him, disappear in Avengers, and we see what he's doing, right? And he's find out that there's another Loki out there that they're trying to catch, and they're using Loki to catch Loki. But this took a great turn because Loki figured it out what was happening and why this guy was hiding. Which it was like, okay, I get this. This is so cool, and in the science of multiverse, it makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. How can you disrupt a time continuum if you're interacting with somebody that's supposed to die within 5 minutes? So whatever you do, you're not going to. There's no butterfly effect. You know what I mean? Right. You can party with that dude whatever, because he's going to die in that volcano or like some natural disaster.
So Scott, so what Loki figured out was the other Loki is hiding in an apocalypse somewhere, some apocalyptic event. Because what happens is that everybody in that, like, they went to Pompeii to test it, okay?
Right.
He and Owen Wilson, or Mobius, they went to Pompeii. And when they were there, he's all, watch, no, there's going to be no survivors or anything. I can do whatever I want, basically, and it won't adjust the timeline. You won't see any variant energy, whatever they called it, right? Nexus energy or whatever it's called.
Nexus, right,
So Mobius is really worried about everything. He's all, look, don't do anything major. Just make bird noises or something and to disrupt it, to see if I sense anything. Loki's all, yeah, fine. And then he jumps on a wagon, starts yelling at everybody, and starts speaking to them in their language. And
tell them they're gonna die. I'm from
tell
the
them
future.
they're gonna die. I'm from the future.
Yeah,
that volcano is gonna explode. Blah blah blah. Just screw with everything. So then it explodes. He's like, oh, right on cue.
Yeah,
and then
right
he comes over there, and they test him. He's like, oh, you're right. There's no thing. So he figured it out. That's where the other Loki is.
That was awesome. So. The another thing that I love about this show, and I loved about WandaVision and stuff, is the time traveling and the costuming, and it brings back so much, especially because you go into the 80s a little bit, and then you go into in the future, right? And it's just so, I don't know, man. I love it because they are putting money into this. They're putting effort, and they're not just trying to tell just a single timeline and just half-assing it. My major complaint, and when we want to do one of these Beyond the Pits, is the horror movies. In horror movies, it's all half-assed. Everything, they don't put enough effort. Anyway, if that's a future one, because I just saw Unholy, and I'm so mad about that movie. But anyway,
do you consider real quick sidetrack? Do you consider A Quiet Place to be horror or more of a thriller?
No, I think it's a horror. It's in the horror genre.
Okay,
yeah, sci-fi.
Have you seen one or two of that?
I've seen the first one. Yeah, I haven't gone out and saw the second one yet, which I'm going to.
I think it might even be better.
Wow.
I mean, talk about putting all your effort into. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, this is what our line talks.
I had two notes. I gotta make notes.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, going back to Loki, because I want to get to the point where it leaves off that cliffhanger, right? But so we figuring out the time thing, and like I said, their talk about fate, I guess, the Watchers. There's a big question here too, and I'm yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, the timekeepers.
Yeah, the timekeepers.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Finish that thought. I think we're on the same path here.
Yeah, I was questioning myself if they exist.
Yeah.
Or not. Like,
what the hell?
I don't think they exist.
The whole movie, the whole episode is like really like they keep bringing it up.
One person has seen them.
Yeah.
They claim to see Owen Wilson's character, Mobius.
Right. He's
never seen him, but he just believes in him. He's like having faith in their
it's like their
purpose in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also explain that too in this episode, which is cool because Loki was like, what happens after this, after time? Mobius is like, whatever happens, it was supposed to. I mean,
we all meet in peace. We meet at peace at the end.
Yeah. And he goes, well, where did they come from? And then he's like, well, where did you come from, Loki? And he's all, I came from a frost giant and this and that. And and so it's almost like,
well, it's funny because he's all, okay, so you believe in all this. So basically talking to a God, right? Talking about God and heaven and whatever.
Right.
What it's basically saying, right?
The timekeepers are gods, right? Like,
right. And he's all, and that sounds silly. He's all, oh, that sounds silly. He's all, where are you from, Loki?
Right.
He's all, Jotunheim,
the
frost giant. Oh, and son of Odin, the god of God, whatever. He's all, how ridiculous does that sound? He goes, he says, if we get hung up on where we all came from, we're never going to go anywhere. So I believe what I believe because I get past believing. I just know it is what it is, type of thing.
As far as they know, the timekeepers created this whole timeline and they created the existence of everybody. And it goes like basically, and Loki even questioned the free will. So we don't have free will. So it's all set in written in stone. And this is what happens. Like our discussion with the wills, right? That's I tend to believe that everybody in Star Wars has a choice, and the free will runs rampant. I don't think there's destiny and fate. I think that because it's just a matter of where the ripples. I don't know. It gets all this thing, but
that's why it's always in motion.
So Marvel's introducing this thing where there's no free will and fate. There's a line, and everything is supposed to happen the way it is. And right now, Loki is disrupting those things because they had the Nexus Wars and the stuff before.
And when you mentioned that free will, he literally says, he's all, so basically you, me, the TVA, we're the only free ones in the galaxy.
Right.
Right? Because right there, they're not on a timeline at the moment. So they can
Right.
do whatever they want without being harassed, really.
Yeah.
If he gets away somewhere and can hide, he has free will.
Yeah.
Neat.
You know, yeah, it's a cool dialogue that they're setting up. And again, it made me question the actual existence of these Time Watchers, if it's just a muse, if it's just a setup. You know, like I said, I will admit I don't know much about the comics and Marvel when it comes to this, like if this is true, you know, if there are Time Watchers or what. I am
it's beyond me.
That.
It's beyond my knowledge of it too.
You know what's great about it? I think it's better that we don't. Because if we did know, take it into our world, right into the Star Wars world, if I knew, I would expect it and need it and start going off on it. Now I'm actually going to get surprised, and whatever it is to me, that's canon. That's how it is. So I don't have to argue about, oh, no, but in this book, in this comic, and oh, back in Legends, you know, we don't have to do any of that nonsense. Whatever I see on that screen is going to be my canon.
And that's why I'm learning with it.
Cool.
I'm learning as I'm watching, which is great because, you know, like I said, even Loki's questioning the existence of the Time Watchers. Owen Wilson's just accepting it, but then he talks to his boss. I forgot her name in it. The one that's collecting all these artifacts. You know, like, and she's the only one that's basically claimed to.
Oh, and the way she just talks about, oh no, they're busy. I seen them. You should see how I've never seen.
That's
them
what I'm
busy.
saying, dude. They don't exist, man. They
don't exist.
Yeah,
it's a ruse. It's Wizard of Oz right now. Something's behind the curtain.
I gotta say, I love what you just said, Chris, about not having this knowledge ahead of time of these events and these storylines, because I think that would save things like the DC cinematic universe for me. If I had no knowledge of the comics instead of almost 40 years worth of reading DC comics, I think the experience of seeing those movies and watching those shows and all that would make it so much better. I never put it into perspective like that. I like that.
And then on the other hand, like I have read the Infinity Saga.
Yeah,
in
same here.
Form, and I saw the movies, and I'm like, the movies are actually better because it's if they went, like I said, if they really went the comic book route. First off, that X-Men weren't, they didn't have enough characters to do that stuff.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four, X-Men, they didn't have that people. They could now, but it's too late.
Right.
So they changed it in this narrative, and I'm okay. Like I said, there's no X-Men in the first 10 years and all that stuff.
Well, just kind of like the TV show just talked about, right? We had a whole bunch of just what they were saying is all these comics of years and TV shows and movies and stuff. Those were all the timelines fighting for supremacy, right? And here, boom, the MCU just fought. And the MCU is the timeline now.
Yeah,
not the comics. Not everything. That's how I see it to myself. Nothing else is canon. This MCU is its own.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's its own.
That's kind of what they're. Yeah.
Separate
so it doesn't bother
why,
me.
Yeah,
so it doesn't bother me about the comics.
Exactly. So let's fast forward to this. Like, Loki. They track down where the Loki variant that they're chasing from, and it's from Alabama. Alabama
2050 in 2050.
Yeah, I guess a hurricane's supposed to wipe out this town in Alabama, and that's where they confront the Loki that they're chasing. And they go after it, and of course, everybody's skeptical of our Loki. I'll say our Loki, the one we know, because he's trying to trick them. Even in this episode, he tried to get around the fact, and I don't know if he's telling the truth here or not. When he said that,
me neither, dude.
When he was talking when they face to face the other two Lokis, which the other one was disguised as somebody, did the whole.
He was doing like essence transfer. I forget what it's called, right?
They mentioned, and he explains it to the T in this one too.
Oh, dude, no, that was a different one. Okay, he was saying
illusion before essence. Or
you do your illusions, right? And Loki's all, oh no, I make a copy of myself. It's different. And he's all, how is it different? And he explains it all very scientifically.
Yeah.
Oh, Wilson's all, okay, if we're done with Professor Loki, we're gonna, It's really. Those two play off each other really
well.
They do. But it was neat how they explain that. But the other one, what the other Loki's doing is mind controlling people.
Right.
So it's
the Loki they're hunting.
Yes. All of so like they take over a person in the store they're at, and then it takes over the lady, the main the TVA agent.
Yeah.
With the hard hats.
15 or something like that.
B-15, right?
Yeah.
Take her over, and all of a sudden you realize it's Loki, and that's when they start talking, and Loki realizes he's all, oh, me, I presume. And they start talking that he keeps changing people around and around. And it's kind of neat around the store. And as he's talking, and they're playing each other, which is neat because you don't know which one's. Well, you know the new one that we just met.
Right.
Well, you know what? I'm lying.
Loki.
I was gonna say no. I was gonna say the other Loki is obviously the bad one, but maybe it's not. Maybe the other one's not.
Here we are. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the other one realizes that something bad is happening, and they're ahead of the curve right now. And they're trying to stop. Yeah. They're trying to stop the TVA because they're screwing with everything. And this Loki is. What if that's the deal? Okay,
that would be interesting. Well, let's get into the reveal, and let's get into what's happening. Yeah. Okay, so it's revealed that we'll just call bad Loki, was going out and taking all these those ones that they restart time,
the reset
evaporates
bomb.
everything. Yeah, the reset bombs.
Yeah.
Well, the reason
why they had him last week.
Yeah. The reason why that Loki was going through time and collecting and stealing all these things is because he was setting up a trap, basically, of sending him out through all aspects of time and disrupting everything, so causing a nexus event.
Like 100 different portals open, and all the bombs went down into timelines to explode.
Yeah, and then you see the timeline start splitting like 100 times, all in these little nexus events. So right now, it's like chaos. It's like going back how they explained it in the first episode, where that first Nexus War, where the timekeepers had to create the one time. So they're resetting that, which is cool. And Loki is not Loki, the one that they're chasing.
Well, Loki's Loki, but a different version of Loki.
Right.
It's female Loki.
Lady Loki.
It's Lady Loki.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny.
Seen her in the comic before.
Yeah,
which is funny because earlier on, and you hadn't caught it, because here's what happened. Earlier on, they're explaining that they're chasing a Loki variant. Right. And we don't know which one it is. It could look like anything, and they have the hologram up, and it shows him as a soccer champ. Right?
Yeah.
It shows Loki with big horns. It shows Loki as Hulk. And then it stops. But I during that time, I was like, oh, they didn't show Lady Loki. I know he was a lady in the comics at some point, right?
Correct.
That was weird. Didn't think of it again until the end. And I'm like, oh, be damned. That's why we didn't see Lady Loki.
Yeah, so Lady Loki's behind this whole thing. Again, makes me question, is she the good? And that would be a good twist. But she disappears, and Loki basically goes after her as Wilson is chasing her, like, no. And then you see those two go off on whatever time frame that they went on. And then now the main time frame is splitting to all these Nexus events. So now chaos everywhere.
They said somebody just bombed the timeline.
Yeah,
that was the last thing you hear in the show.
Yeah,
right. But the Loki, good Loki going with bad Loki bugs me, right? Or good Loki leaving bugs me. Like, is he going for a good reason, a bad reason? It's really
you never know with Loki.
Loki's really
never know,
and that's why it bugs me, because I like to kind of know, but it's so weird because I might have to wait many episodes to figure it out. Then I'm gonna get frustrated because like now he has to talk on his way back into being trusted again. Nobody's gonna trust him. You kind of know what the trope's gonna be, right?
Yeah.
So that part's gonna be a little bit bothersome if it just sticks to it. But if they had the good twist and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Because his ultimate goal was to get an audience with the Time Watchers. That's what he wanted. But then is also questioning their existence too. So, like I said, so was that a Loki moment? Was that a mischief moment too? Like the whole I want an audience with the Time Watchers too. So.
Yeah, who knows, dude? Oh, because he even played him. He probably tried to play him twice in the episode. Played Owen Wilson twice, and it's just you never know with Loki. That's right. What's cool. You love him, but he's a bad guy, and I love all the bad guys anyway. Usually, right?
Yeah. I like it when he's good. When he actually is working for, like, trying to be good too. I like it, and then he does something where it's like, oh, here we go. It's like
there was that few minutes where he was like really chatterbox, right? Like he was really into it, and then Owen Wilson called him on it, right? He's all, what happened to Elevator Loki that got here and didn't want to talk? Now I got chatterbox Loki talking about how to catch a Loki.
I love it. Yeah, the dialogue was so good in this movie, like in the movie. Movie because it's hard to really differentiate.
The quality,
it was an hour long. It was an hour long. It was a long ass show.
Yeah. So with that now, I'm always in my back of my head. I'm always thinking about the next 10 years of all the slate that they've announced. They've mentioned Multiverse of Madness. That's the Doctor Strange movie, and I think that one is coming. You got Black Widow, and then that one, or Eternals, and then that one, or something like that.
I think Eternals.
I keep forgetting about the Eternals.
Yeah.
See,
that didn't do anything for me either.
That's the problem I'm having going forward post Endgame and post Spider-Man Homecoming, is that the movies that we've seen, none of them thrill me. None of the ones that are coming really excite me.
This Phase 4,
but the TV shows, on the other hand, the Disney Plus shows are phenomenal. And I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was great. I loved WandaVision. I did every episode. I was fully invested in WandaVision. I wasn't one of those that waited until it went somewhere. I actually invested in that thing, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Black Widow, I don't care. She's dead. I know all they're doing is introducing their sister as the next Black Widow. I don't care. Yeah. Who cares? Eternals, I don't even know what they are. I don't even know.
Spoiler alert! I didn't know that about Black Widow.
You're right. I've always questioned the new Avengers, right? Besides Spider-Man being basically the only one that can. Well, Thor. Okay, we know where Thor's at. We know God and Thunder is coming out. Love and Thunder.
That one kind of excites me because I mean we're back with Taika Waititi and you know it's the same adventures.
Well, then you have, like I said, Lady Thor, and you're gonna have like the Spider-Man's carrying the mantle. You might. I don't know if they're gonna go with Lady Iron Man or Iron Woman. You know, I don't know if they're gonna do that stuff. Like
they said that was happening. That was happening already. There's a lady version
She-Hulk,
of every single character.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all female Avengers. I mean, they're all coming in.
What's the female Iron Man called? What's she called?
I forgot what
Ironheart. I think it's Ironheart.
That's right. That's right.
But
knowledge bomb.
Yeah, you're right in a sense that this next 10 years. The first 10 years set up, and like they did. I have Thanos right here because I love this character right here.
Yeah.
Boom. I think Darkseid's better, but yeah, Thanos is pretty cool. But it's hard to get excited for something that's unfamiliar and not as this like I think we're still too young into this to make that judgment, but I'm going to make it anyway. Is the besides the multiverse thing, the threat that has to come, right?
Secret Invasion.
Galactus. Yeah, Secret Wars, right?
If they're doing that in each one of these movies, and we see a little bit of a hint of it in each, and it builds up, which they're going to do again. They've got to do that, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay with it. And if you get cameos from each character, I want crossover every time, really, really clean. You know, this is when we got to see Deadpool and the X-Men and everybody starting to come in.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four.
You've got to see them all start crossing over and meeting each other and catching through early, especially with things like Shang-Chi.
I forgot about that one.
That one's coming up too. Yeah.
But and we're nerds. And we forget. You know what I mean? Regular Joe Blow going to the movies is not just going to go because it says Marvel. It's just not how it works.
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy happen to work and Ant-Man happen to work, but they're not their biggest ones. They just happen to be great movies.
There's another Ant-Man coming too. They're filming that right now.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I forgot about all this.
But see, I'm good for Ant-Man. I want to see Ant-Man. I want to see Thor, and I want to see Doctor Strange because I know it's gonna be big, right? Big events. But the rest of them, I don't need to see Black Widow. I really don't care. Like you said, it doesn't do anything for me. Her story's been told. I'm good.
Are they going to do more Avenger movies though?
Yeah, I think they have to. I don't think. I mean, we've got a new Winter Soldier, or a new Captain America. We're gonna have a new Black Widow. We're gonna have all these characters have been recycled into the new versions. Right. I think we've got to have new Avengers.
So it'll be a Lady Avengers. Can they just call it that? Because it's what it'll be. I hate to be that guy, but that's where we're at, right? We're almost there. Would they call it that or just say New Avengers?
New Avengers, yeah.
Because I mean, we still have Captain America, who is
Spider-Man.
Sam and Spider-Man. It's
all right.
Yeah.
Well, those would be okay. Those would be the guys. Those would be. They would. Well, we'll see. The Lady Thor's in.
Lady Thor, right? Exactly. Like
because you could have it because right now it's pretty much that kind of scale, right? A bunch of dudes to a couple girls and just do the reverse. And
reverse it, sure.
But do we think that Natalie Portman is going to be in for playing Thor for the long haul? I don't know.
What else is she doing at this point?
Exactly.
She does a lot of small films, but it's always like artsy films. I don't know if she's into the. She's had a bad experience with the blockbusters, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure her bank hates it.
Yeah.
I'll take as much internet hate as and somebody wants to say I'm wooden acting off George Lucas's direction. So what? You know? I'll take how many millions she made off of that. I could care.
Well, then you get a director like Taika who's actually he can draw those kind of performances out of their actors. And I mean, that totally changes everything.
Very true. Very true.
Ragnarok played in the background again the other day when I was making
so good.
I really do enjoy Ragnarok. I hope he kills the Star Wars one. I just absolutely.
Yeah. I think with this Disney Plus slate and what we've gotten so far, and Loki being basically the centerpiece of the movies, because Loki's storyline right now is the Marvel storyline. WandaVision had, it was dealing with her and maybe bringing in mutants, right? Maybe. Falcon Winter Soldier was dealing with their story and then bringing up the new Captain America. But I think this, because it's going to expand.
And the Dark Avengers, too.
Oh, are they doing that one?
I think they are working on the Dark Avengers because, I mean, that's who U.S. Agent is. Right. He's one of the Dark Avengers.
You're right.
Yeah.
That was mentioned. And then you would do, because you have Blonsky in prison.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's in prison. We know where all the villains are. Zemo's alive still.
Right.
Just not many of them are dead, are they? We can. Who else do we have?
Loki.
No, I guess Ultron could come back. Ultron's a program. Ultron can come back.
You're going to have Dr. Doom. You're going to have Dr. Doom coming in. You're going to have Magneto coming in. You're going to have, like all.
Are they going to go straight to those guys again?
I think we're going to have Galactus, man. I think we're going to go straight to Galactus is the one who's going to be the Thanos of this next 10 years.
Hopefully he's not a giant cloud.
What I mean is, I know how important Magneto and we all are, the same villains are to the story. So they just jump in MCU the same way old Fox did. Same villains right off the bat, Doctor Doom and Magneto.
Yeah,
you have to do Magneto kind of, right? It's not X-Men without Magneto.
Yeah,
but you have to start with Doom.
I really wish they wouldn't. They've tried it a couple of times now, and it didn't work. I would like them to ease into that. Have him be like some kind of shadow figure in the background, manipulating whatever happens.
So in like Fantastic Four Part 3 or something, he introduced
have him be the Thanos. In the Avengers movies and all those movies, we had little snippets of Thanos at the end. Have that be Doctor Doom. That could be cool.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Okay, well, with that, I think we're gonna call this our first episode of Beyond the Pit, and then we're gonna do, like I said.
But I want to talk more.
I know, right? We can
go another hour.
This can veer off into so many different things, but I want to keep
16 candles in 3 seconds. Here we go,
dude. I can do it, man.
I know. I've seen it.
Do it. I'm a habitual line crosser, and when it comes that or line drawer in the nerddom. So. But yeah, man, I wanted to do this to kick off our series. I think this was great, and I know we carried the conversation off air and everything like that. So everybody who's listening, I appreciate everything. Leave comments in there. See what else you guys want to talk about and discuss, and we'll bring to the forefront. Like I said, I want to talk horror. I know Joey wants to talk wrestling. I want to talk DC. We got to get into a DC talk, but I know Marvel's going to be a thing moving forward because we're having something every week, and then we get into that.
Because they actually do something productive at Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
And we all, believe it or not, yes, we're Star Wars, but again, there's Star Wars and there's everything else, and this is the Everything Else series. So with that, I appreciate you guys coming on with me. I appreciate everybody listening, and check out Sarlacc Digest podcast. Whenever you get a chance, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Keep it nerdy.